Coming up on Mountain News this morning, health experts say a COVID-19 vaccine is needed to return to a somewhat normal life, but some experts worry that many will refuse to take it. And Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell made several stops at hospitals throughout our region yesterday. Hear what he had to say.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Lacey Roberts. Thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. Today is July 14th. It is Tuesday, or like we call it around here, Monday 2.0. Well, today we're starting off with some lower temperatures. Let's go ahead and bring in Brandon Robinson. Of course, we know those aren't going to last, Brandon, and we know that we're in the middle of that summer heat, right?
That's exactly right, Lacey, and I wish they would last. I love these cooler temperatures that we're seeing this morning, but unfortunately, you're right. Once that sun pops out from behind the fog, it's going to heat us up fast, and it's going to be a hot and humid day and a hot and humid stretch over the next few days. Mountain Parkway camera this morning at Slade. Not as much fog up there, but it's a little bit hovering low because there's no cloud cover. At least there's very minimal cloud cover, so that shouldn't be causing too many issues. I can't believe we're seeing fives in front of some of these air temperature numbers this morning. Danville, Irvin, Somerset, and Williamsburg all at 59 degrees this morning. Coolest spot in the region is Monticello at 57, 67 Jackson, the warmest spot in the region this morning. Low 60s is the norm today, but of course you factor in that dew point. Makes it feel a little sticky out there. It's air you can wear, but not as bad as it normally has been. Temperatures today, 87 under sunny skies. When you factor in the heat index, could feel a little closer to 90 in spots. Lacey.
Thank you, Brandon. And officials in Pulaski County are working to slow the spread of COVID-19. This comes after 7 employees tested positive for the virus at a Cracker Barrel in Somerset. Health officials say it's most likely from community spread, but Deputy Judge Executive Dan Price says things like this worry local officials.
That's our ultimate concern, is people's health and safety. But as that been said, I wonder if any of our employees was there. Did that create something that we have to adjust in some of our areas, road department or animal control, those sort of things, because we're adjusting every day. Over the weekend or every so often we have an employee says, hey, I've been around, or I've got to go quarantine. And so it's a challenge.
If you visited the Somerset Cracker Barrel between June 27th and July 11th, you are asked to monitor for symptoms or just go and get tested. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell made several stops at hospitals throughout our region yesterday. WYMT's Madison Pergram was at the Corbin stop and has more.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell started his day at Baptist Health Corbin, showing his appreciation for frontline healthcare workers.
It reminded me of the first responders who ran into the burning buildings after 9/11. They didn't know how much they were endangering their own health in trying to help others.
Also touching on the importance that people wear a face mask.
The single best thing we can do to protect ourselves and others is to wear a mask and maintain social distancing. It's not that hard.
Both McConnell and Anthony Powers, president of the hospital, talks about the impact of the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, also known as the CARES Act.
Just really helped us to maintain services and be financially stable going forward.
Providing this specific hospital with nearly $10 million.
We are still about $7 million down net revenue, but honestly, the difference between $17 million down and $7 million is astronomical.
McConnell finishing his remarks, mentioning the possibility of an additional relief package that he says will include liability protection for everyone related to the virus.
So look for the emphasis in the rest of the bill to be on kids and jobs and health care.
Finishing out the day visiting hospitals in Laurel and Rockcastle counties. In Corbin, Madison Pergram, WYMT Mountain News.
And the CARES Act brought in nearly $12 billion into the state of Kentucky. McConnell says a possible additional relief package will be brought forward in the next 4 weeks. And in 2019, vaccine hesitancy was listed as a top 10 global health threat by the World Health Organization. While health experts say that a COVID-19 vaccine is needed to return life to normal, a growing number of Americans are concerned about politicians prioritizing speed over safety. Many worry those fears could mean trouble for an eventual COVID-19 vaccine here in the U.S. and abroad. Dr. Ryan Stanton, an ER physician in Lexington, wants to help put concerns about vaccine effectiveness to bed.
Even though it's hurried, it doesn't mean it gets a free pass in terms of efficacy and safety testing. We're not going to see something out there that is dangerous simply because we want something out in front of the public. The FDA is still testing these things. They are still having to go through the approval process.
Recent polls have found that as few as 50% of Americans are committed to receiving a COVID-19 vaccine at this point. And while many are hopeful that we'll have a vaccine by the end of the year, Dr. Stanton thinks 2021 is a more realistic expectation. And during the pandemic, we have seen a shortage in everyday supplies, from food to toilet paper to meat. Now a new shortage is coins. With a temporary shutdown of a U.S. Mint and decrease in spending during the COVID-19 pandemic, fewer coins are in circulation. Banks are having hard times keeping coins in stock, even limiting the amount a business can purchase. Pantry Shelf and Hazard is one business feeling the impact of this shortage.
Last week, my bank, my local bank, told me that they are limited in small coin right now. Now, we're not talking quarters, and she didn't really tell me dimes either, but now I am limited, as far as I know right now, to $5 worth of pennies a week. We go through $5 of pennies a day.
Brotherton says most of her regular customers pay with coins, so she hopes that will help even the shortage out. Bank officials tell us if you have coins, you can exchange them for cash at a local bank, and urges people to try to pay an exact change when they are shopping. And there are a number of organizations across the country looking to help those impacted by COVID-19, and many of them need volunteers. One organization, Corona Connects, is looking to spur people now working from home to find volunteer organizations in their own communities. Ash Balagia is a college student from Kentucky. She says her classes began to close down. She and her peers from across America decided to step up.
We noticed that as a lot of students came back home and more people working from home, a lot of people wanted to help in some way but weren't really sure how. And as more people were displaced from where they usually work or they're used to living and working, they didn't really know what kind of opportunities there were in their local communities.
To date, the organization has connected over 6,000 people who want to volunteer in their communities with organizations that needed them. And community action agencies are now accepting applications for their new initiative, the LIHEAP Summer Cooling Program. The Home Energy Assistance focuses on helping those with high electric bills. Now, the program was created to try and help folks during the pandemic. Well, I talked with the executive director of LKLP about how it works. As COVID-19 continues to make changes across the country and Commonwealth,
we've actually been running a LIHEAP program continuously since COVID-19 was announced.
Some good has come to the mountains.
But with COVID, of course, this year and some additional funding through CARES,
allowing LKLP to continue their low-income home energy assistance program into a summer cooling program.
That is the first time that we've ever had two components.
Those two parts, subsidy and crisis. While subsidy is based on
your income and your type of housing, it ranges from $50 to $200, the benefit does. Crisis component that can go up to $600 and is for someone that's either at risk of being disconnected or has been disconnected from electricity.
So how can you get assistance?
The first thing to do is to call your local community action agency office, no matter which county you're in.
Traditionally, applications are done in person.
But with COVID-19 now, we're doing a lot of telehealth models to where we can do it by telephone and or video.
Interviewing applicants through Zoom.
They can take pictures of their documentation or hold it up to the screen and we can snapshot it.
Or use a drop box outside your local office.
And anyone that applies that's eligible will be approved for assistance. There's no limit on funding.
Serving Kentuckians year-round. In Hazard, Lacey Roberts, WYMT Mountain News. Now, the LKLP office in Hazard serves Leslie, Nod, Letcher, and Perry counties. To find out more, you should call your local community action office.
Helpers and Heroes, sponsored by Wolf, Williams, and Reynolds, serving Eastern Kentucky for Social Security Disability and Federal Black Lung.
Well, we continue our series today of a family of frontline helpers and heroes. And let's get started this morning. We begin with some more fine folks. And a reminder, all these pictures in this series were sent in by Lori Johnson. Our first picture is her nephew, Dusty Calhoun. Dusty is a nurse working in the emergency room at Highlands ARH in Prestonsburg. You can't get any more frontline than that. Thank you, Dusty, for your service to our region. Our next picture is Dusty's fiance, Miranda Cook. Miranda is a nurse at Hazard ARH. Thank you, Miranda, for your dedication to your patients, your coworkers, and the community you serve. We definitely appreciate you. And our final picture today is Lori's niece, Megan Calhoun Cole. Megan is also a nurse at the Hazard ARH, serving the sickest patients in the intensive care unit. Thank you, Megan, for always going above and beyond during this pandemic and always. And of course, we are doing this segment until the end of the month, so you can continue to submit your helpers and heroes over at WYMT.com. And you can also send those to me on my Facebook page, Brandon Robinson, WYMT. Lacey?
Thank you, Brandon, and thank you for sending those in. We really do enjoy those. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Mountain News this morning.